I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to this afternoon's agenda meeting where we will review the action items that will be formally addressed next Tuesday, August 1st already. Tuesday, August 1st. We'll get cooler weather for sure.
We hope.
At 6 p.m. right here at City Hall, and Mr. Bill Burrow is on a well-deserved vacation, and Deputy City Manager Lance Spicer will lead us in the meeting and review these action items. Lance?
Thank you, Mayor. As stated, this will be the proposed agenda for the Tuesday, August 1st, 2023 Board of Directors meeting. Under recognition of guests, we do have Mr. Gary Troutman, President and CEO of the Hot Springs Chamber of Commerce and Hot Springs Metro Partnership. He'll be delivering his economic development report. And with that, we will step into the consent agenda section. First item up is consider resolution R23-136, a resolution acknowledging the receipt of the City of Hot Springs financial statements for June 2023. And we have our Finance Director, Karen Scott.
Good afternoon. As you all know, the monthly financial statements are issued to keep city management and constituents apprised of the financial condition of the City of Hot Springs. The June 2023 statements will be provided as an attachment to your board packet, and staff recommends acknowledging receipt of the June 2023 monthly financial statements.
Any questions of Karen?
Thanks for
Thank
the
you.
good news on the tax.
Thank you.
Also, Mayor, I will be giving my report of the mid-year status of this year's financial progress versus last year under the city manager's report at that meeting.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for the reminder, Ms. Scott. Next up, we have Resolution R23-137, resolution restricting certain funds in the general fund. Again, we have Karen Scott, Finance Director.
Yes, the board adopted Resolution 9912 on November 16, 2021, restricting $2 million in the general fund balance for the future demolition of the former St. Joseph's Hospital building that is currently used by the Arkansas School for Mathematics, Science, and the Arts. We believe that it is prudent at this time to restrict an additional $2 million for the same purpose, as it is estimated that demolition may occur in 2024. Staff recommends restricting an additional $2 million of the general fund balance for the demolition of ASMSA.
Very good. Any questions for Karen on this topic? Hearing none, thank you.
Okay. Our next item is consider resolution R23-138, a resolution authorizing a memorandum of agreement between the City of Hot Springs and the Hot Springs School District regarding contract payment for school resource officers. And we have our Chief of Police, Billy Harvington.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, members of the board. For almost 2 decades, the Hot Springs Police Department and the Hot Springs School District have engaged in a partnership of having a Hot Springs Police School Resource Officer assigned to the school district. Both the school and HSPD believe having this officer assigned to the district enhances the overall security of the students, faculty, and visitors to the campuses and public safety of the area in general. It provides direct communications and information sharing between HSPD and the school, which could be very valuable at a critical time. The school resource officer not only provides an additional level of security, but also works with students as a mentor, attends extracurricular activities, and helps strengthen the community relationship between the students and the police by being a resource to the students at any time of need. Dr. Nahus, the district superintendent, agrees that the school resource officer is an asset to her district, and she wishes to maintain this agreement as well, and this relationship that the school district and the Hot Springs Police Department currently have. This resolution will allow the police department and the school district to sign this memorandum of agreement to continue this arrangement. The MOA establishes that the school shall pay 75% of the officer's salary and benefits for 9 months of the year, and the city will pay the salary in full for the other 3 months, along with 25% of the 9-month period. This is the same arrangement that we've had for many years. There is no additional fiscal impact to the city outside of the already planned and accepted budget. And I would entertain any questions that you might have.
Any questions of Chief Harvington? Director Webb?
Thank you, Mayor. Chief, is this for how many officers?
It's just one that
One
we have
officer?
assigned to that district. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
Any additional questions?
I have one, Mayor.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Chief, since they've established their own police department, we anticipate this continuing. You said that Superintendent Nahus, and you'd like to continue it, so will this be ongoing, do you think?
I anticipate it will be, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. How many officers do they have? Do you know on staff? 5?
I think they have 4. I think they have 5 positions and maybe have 4 currently filled, unless they filled one just recently in the
Okay.
last couple of weeks.
All right, thank you.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the final item of your consent agenda is consider resolution R23-139, a resolution awarding a contract to Steep Creek LLC for certain community development block grant improvements on Malvern Avenue. And we have our Assistant City Engineer, Michael Hill.
Yes, this is the project that will continue in the next phase of the Malvern Avenue Greenway Improvement Project. It includes installing electrical conduit, irrigation lines, street light foundations, green space, and ADA ramps. We recommend that we award this contract to Steep Creek. They were the only bidder, and this is actually the second time we bid this contract out, and we received no bids the first time we put it out for contracts. We continue to have problems getting bidders. It will use a combination of funds. $33,000 will come from the CDBG funding, and the remainder $112,762 will come from Complete Street funding.
Any questions of Mr. Hill? Director Garcia?
Is this, will this be the first time using this company?
Yes.
But they had good references? Or that information will be in our packet?
Well, I've called the city engineer in Conway. They're based out of Conway and have not received any information back from them yet. So I'm still waiting for him to get back with me.
And is there a reason we don't get bidders? Have anybody said?
Everyone that has
Too
bid in the
busy?
past, they're busy. They
Yeah.
just say they're too busy to take on any more work.
Understand. Thank you.
Any Director Trustee?
Thank you, Mayor. Mike, where is this actually located? I mean, where's it going to be from? to?
Gulfa to Church Street.
Gulfa to Church. If you said that, I missed it. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, next we'll be moving into your new business section. First up, we have consider ordinance O2318. This is an ordinance approving the purchase of certain Kohler emergency generator from Nixon Power Services LLC, formerly RP Power LLC, for the Gulfa Basin Pump Station pursuant to ACA Section 1458-104, sub 21, and for other purposes. Total cost $697,810 plus tax. And we have our major projects capital manager, Mr. Todd Pillar.
Thank you and good afternoon. The generator and ATS for the new Gulf Major Pump Station was designed by Brown Engineers and Christ Engineers, and it is a 1250 kW size generator. It's give you an idea, our new water plant is a 1750, and the Davidson Drive improvements that we're doing, the generator that's on order is at 2000 kW. So the reason why we want to order it is we bid the construction of the Gulf Pump Station, and it takes 14 months to construct, and the generator delivery is 66 weeks. So that puts it at the end of October 2024, which will blend nicely with the end of the construction project. It'll be owner furnished, contractor installed, and if the generator is ready before the installing contractor is ready, like our water plant generator that's sitting up in Kohler, Wisconsin right now, they'll store it for us. Nixon Power is the old RP Power, and again, as Lance said, the purchase order amount will be $697,810. That does include freight and startup, but we have to add the applicable sales tax. And it will be funded out of the 2020 wastewater bond fund.
Any questions of Todd on this topic? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on your new business is consider ordinance O2319. This This is an ordinance approving M1 light manufacturing zoning on 2.34 unplatted acres known as 222 Davidson Drive, amending the future land use map to designate the area industrial and for other purposes. And we have our Planning and Development Director, Kathy Selman.
Thank you. The applicant and property owner is Karen Lloyd, and she is requesting M1 light manufacturing zoning. This is 2.3 acres with approximately 180 feet of frontage on Davidson Drive. The surrounding property zoning is on the north M1, on the east unincorporated Garland County in our planning area. In the south is M1 light manufacturing, and to the west is rural residential R1 zoning. Surrounding land use on the north is storage units. To the east, Davidson Drive and single-family residential. To the south, City of Hot Springs Parks and Maintenance, compost facilities, animal services, and wastewater treatment. And to the left is undeveloped timberland. The Hot Springs Code, Title 16, requires that Planning Commission must make specific findings regarding whether the zoning should be recommended for approval. The applicant submitted a narrative in support of this zone change request, which lists compatible with surrounding zoning. Planning Commission must find that the requested zone change demonstrates compatibility with surrounding development and zoning. As if the change to M1 is approved, the full range of M1 uses would then be possible. The recommendation to Planning Commission was for a recommendation to the board to adopt the zoning as requested. Planning Commission duly advertised their July 13, 2023 meeting. After calling for testimony and considering the record, by their 9-0 vote, Planning Commission accepted the staff report findings and recommended that the Board of Directors adopt an ordinance amending the zoning map for the property at 222 Davidson Drive from R1 to M1 and to amend the future land use plan map to industrial because it does demonstrate compatibility with surrounding development and zoning as required by Hot Springs Code.
Any questions of Ms. Selman? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to our final action item on new business as well. This is consider ordinance O2320, an ordinance amending ordinance number 6458 pertaining to the property maintenance code of the City of Hot Springs, Arkansas, and for other purposes. And our city attorney, Brian Albright, will present this item.
Thank you, Lance. Mayor, members of the board, as I mentioned to you in a memo last week, this may appear as though this is a direct response to testimony that you heard during your public commentary last week. However, the general conditions and rights of tenants has been something that has been discussed as you know more often than you would think. And in fact, last June the 20th, I began a memo in which I shared with Ms. Selman and city management some of the issues that exist and ways in which to attempt to deal with those. Rather than giving you a summary of what is going to be presented to you next Tuesday, I'm just going to read directly from the ordinance. I think that it speaks for itself. Whereas pursuant to Arkansas Code annotated section 1455-207, Hot Springs Board of Directors adopted the 2021 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code by the enactment of ordinance number 6458 on February 7, 2023. Whereas the stated purpose and intent of this code is to ensure the public health, safety, and welfare insofar as they are affected by the conditions and maintenance of existing structures and premises, and to ensure consistent community standards are applied to all properties. And whereas extreme heat is responsible for more deaths globally than any other climate disaster, and according to the National Weather Service is the leading weather-related cause of death in the United States, which I'm going to include with your packet a graphic that shows the statistics on that. Heat related deaths far exceeded any other cause, including flood, lightning, tornado, hurricanes, winter, cold, wind, and riptide currents. And whereas the Board of Directors finds, should you enact this ordinance, that adequate cooling is an essential element to safe occupancy for residential tenants, and that under the implied authority of Arkansas Code annotated Section 18-17-502H, ordinance number 6458 should be amended and address same. Now therefore is ordained and enacted by the Board of Directors of the City of Hot Springs that Section 1 of ordinance number 6458 is hereby amended by adding a section 17-2-4.6 little I as follows. Replace section 602 of the 2021 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code with the following. Section 602, electrical facilities. Electrical facilities required. Heating and cooling facilities shall be provided in structures as required by this code. Residential occupancies. Heating. Dwellings shall be provided with heating facilities capable of maintaining a room temperature of 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius in all habitable rooms. Cooking appliances shall not be used, nor shall portable unvented fuel-burning space heaters be used as a means to provide adequate heating. The installation of one or more portable space heaters shall not be used to achieve compliance with this section. Air conditioning. Dwellings shall be provided with air conditioning facilities capable of maintaining a room temperature at least 15 degrees cooler than the outside temperature, but in no event higher than 85 degrees Fahrenheit in at least one habitable room by the effective date hereof, and each habitable room by September 1, 2025. Installation of window-mounted air conditioning units must be in compliance with construction codes. Using an extension cord to power the unit will be an electrical violation and fire hazard. Window units must be installed as directed by the manufacturer's installation instructions. Room temperature measurement. The required room temperature shall be measured 3 feet above the floor near the center of the room and 2 feet inward from the center of each exterior wall. Appliances. If appliances are provided in a rental dwelling unit, the owner shall maintain those appliances, including portable heating units, portable air conditioning units, cook stoves, refrigerators, dishwashers, garbage disposals, ventilation hoods, washing machine and clothes dryer and appliance connections in operating condition. All ordinances and resolutions or parts of ordinances or resolution in conflict herewith are hereby amended or repealed as the case may be to the extent of such conflict. The effective date would be September 1, 2023, and as I indicated earlier with respect to air conditioning, that will be applied to one habitable room. The reason for the phase-in for all habitable rooms is in consultation with the building official. There may be some real cost investment required for the owners of these types of structures, particularly if it happens to be a single-family type dwelling. And so the recommendation is to go with one habitable room effective September 1 and phase in all habitable rooms by 2025.
Any questions?
There'll also be an article linked to your packet, which I think is very instructive of the issues that southern states are dealing with respect to this issue and having adequate cooling.
Any questions of Brian?
I have a quick question,
Yes.
if I may. Because we don't have the red line part. The line about appliances provided must be maintained, has that always been there? Is that one of the new
That's
lines?
new.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Director Beard?
Thank you, Mayor. Directly dealing with the Greenbrier situation, the landlord took out a lot of the air conditioner units. Is this the time to ask this, or do we do this next week, just so I know?
Well, your questions today would pertain to what's going to be in your packet and what's going to appear on your agenda.
Okay.
If it's
Well-
related to the merits of the proposal, then that probably should wait until your business meeting.
Okay, so then if it's related to the packet or the addendum, then I would like to mention for the addendum that the tenants, because we don't have laws on the state level, that we also add in as an addendum to address black mold infestation, retaliatory evictions, landlord harassment, and intimidation. I would also like to see what kind of penalties will be imposed for breaking the law, because as we know that the air conditioners were not supposed to be removed, and I'm constantly told that they were not supposed to be removed, but they were removed anyway. So how do we assure people that the ordinance isn't just words on a paper?
Well, with respect, I mean, I think we're getting off topic with respect to the agenda meeting. However, there was no law on the books that we could enforce with respect to air conditioners being there or not being there, or when they could be removed, or how much we're charged. There is a provision under Arkansas law 1817-502 that allows for civil remedies associated therewith. And within that statute, in subparagraph H, it does state that that the owner is not able to go around any stricter rules that a local government might have. We did not have them. That's what's in here with regard to appliances. If the appliances are present when the property is let, then they must be maintained if this is adopted.
Okay.
If it's not adopted, then they must rely on their civil remedy that's available to them under 1817-502.
Okay, so will there be anything in the addendum addressing the other issues that I mentioned?
Well, there is an implied habitability issue with regard to mold. The other issues about harassment and eviction and things of that nature, that's not within the purview of this body.
So what would, as a representative of District 2, what would I do would I go to the state, or how would I mean, you know, I'm sure you are aware of what's going on, and maybe we'll just have this conversation in private.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you either have a direct link or take from our code the penalties so it's adjacent, so we can see easily what the process is if someone's in violation of code?
Sure.
Thank you.
Director Dobbs-Smith.
Is there any merit to adding, I would imagine it would be on properties with more than one, probably more than 4 units, but adding a pest control provision, or is that too onerous for the landlords? On an individual one, I'm not sure that would, but if you have a multi-unit, because it wouldn't do any good if you have 16 units and one person sprays and the person next door doesn't, they're just gonna run back and forth.
Sure.
But if you had like multiple units, is that?
I think it would be prudent for us to look into the International Property Maintenance Code as it currently exists, to see if those provisions are already present. My feeling is this is a huge step that we're trying to take here, and I would encourage you all to address this before we try to address
Understood.
something else.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. But I will report back to you about the International Property Maintenance Code with regard to mold infestation, so forth.
Any additional questions of Brian? Director Webb?
Thank you, Mayor. If we were to pass this ordinance, this is essentially saying that providing inhumane treatment to tenants is wrong. And so we are saying this now, so it's essentially meaning that it was wrong then at the time too. It's my understanding that there may have been some tenants in facilities here within the city that experienced some of what Director Beard was sharing with us, where their air conditioning unit was pulled for little or no reason at all. Therefore, their reaction to cool in this heated climate now was to step outside and get some breeze, in which, when that happened, they were then fined for loitering. If we're saying that this is the wrong kind of treatment now, and we pass this ordinance, we're saying that it was wrong then at the time. So if any fines were imposed upon someone who lived at any of these facilities where that took place, would there be any way to incorporate into this ordinance that for those who did receive a fine and pay that fine, that they be reimbursed that money for the fine?
Sure, let me try to address that. First of all, no citations were issued by the city for loitering.
Now,
If there was a penalty assessed by the landlord owner, that I'm not aware of that. I've heard that, just like you probably have as well. We don't have purview over that.
okay, that was the direction I was going. I don't think I was trying to imply that loitering fine was imposed by the city, but it was my understanding, based on what was shared with me, that there may have been some fines that were imposed by the property owner to tenants. And it was as a direct result of those tenants trying to get cool because their air conditioning unit was pulled. So if they experienced any inconvenience for financial means as a way to maintain just proper health and to provide safety for themselves and their family by stepping outside, and they were fined for loitering as a result of that, could we also have some clause that prevents that type of fining from happening? And could we also address any reimbursement if any of those tenants did pay any fine, even if it's from that property owner?
As much as I would like to agree with you, that's just simply not within the purview of this governmental body.
Director Webb, or excuse me, Director Beard.
Yeah, so if we were to adopt this ordinance on August 1st of next week, why can it go into effect that day? Because on the 1st of August is when the landlord is planning to pull all the air conditioners out of the apartment complex over at Greenbrier, and some of those people have health issues, notes from doctors saying they can't be in extreme heat. So I know that September 1st is when it's supposed to go into effect, but can it go into effect immediately, or how could it go into effect immediately?
Director Beard, that has been a topic of great consternation for many of us. And I will admit that this has had a very short shelf life, okay? But we have been discussing it almost constantly since then. It's almost impossible to have something of this nature effective immediately, because if we go out the next morning with our ticket books to write tickets, it hadn't even been the law yet. There's no way that they can get into compliance in 12 hours. So we're trying to give them enough opportunity. I realize that we are in the middle of summer, and September 1st, we're losing all of August. But it's a matter of practicality. It can't be done.
Well, when we talk about enough opportunity to right a wrong, we brought this or I emailed the city on June 5th, which was technically still spring. And I let the city know that this was a problem, and it has gotten worse and worse since springtime. I don't understand how this is happening, and and why nothing has been done about it. And now that we have the landlord stating that he's to keep an air conditioner over there, you are to pay more than your monthly income.
I mean, Director Beard, I will not begin to try to defend the way that the property has been managed. However, up to this point and forever, we have never regulated air conditioning, and we are trying to get that on the books, where very few cities have done so.
Well, again, we'll have plenty of discussion time next Tuesday at our regular meeting, action meeting, board meeting. Any additional clarifications required of our city attorney?
Would it be impossible to say, even though we're not going to enforce it till September 1st, you can't remove it as of today? What the day that we pass this? No fines for not having them, but say, as of today, you can't remove
Well,
appliances.
Yeah,
Is
here's the problem. I mean, you're talking about contractual relations. We cannot infringe upon contractual relations. We can only go forward. So the issue is, if it is supplied as part of the lease, then they have to remain and they have to be maintained. If they had a lease, anyone had a lease 30 days ago, 6 months ago, 6 years ago, that did not provide for those appliances, then we can't say now you have to provide them. So we can only go forward.
If the lease provided, say, for a refrigerator, and the refrigerator that's actually included in the lease does not, like, never worked or hasn't worked in 6 months, and the apartment was continuously inspected with the refrigerator not working, is that a violation?
Unless and until this ordinance is adopted and enacted, that was never required under our law.
The refrigerator?
Correct. It's a contractual matter.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, that concludes the action items, which will be formally addressed next Tuesday, August 1st, right here at City Hall at 6 p.m. We do have a work session immediately following, so please allow an opportunity to change over our system, and then we'll begin immediately. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I just wanted to let you and the board know that I will be out of town next Tuesday during our board meeting, and I won't be able to be here.
Thank you for the notification.
Thank you.
Are you going to join us via Zoom?
If possible, I will coordinate with Sheila if I can.
All right. Is there going to be a beach in the background or anything? Or?
Are you getting personal?
No, I just want to know what's in the background.
No comment. I know, I come back.